Prince Harry and Meghan are reportedly furious that their children will not be given his or her Royal Highness status by King Charles III. Charles is expected to make 3-year-old Archie and 1-year-old Lilibet Prince and Princess, but the Sussexes apparently want HRH titles for their kids, despite the fact they're no longer working royals. So this is an exclusive written by The Sun's royal editor Matt Wilkinson, and he reported that tense discussions have taken place while the couple have been in the UK for the funeral. And a source told The Sun they have been relentless since the Queen died, but they have been left furious that Archie and Lilibet cannot take the title HRH. That is the agreement. They can be Prince and Princess, but not HRH because they are not working royals. Now, this latest revelation comes after the lefty magazine The Cut, the publication responsible for that lengthy mudslinging feature with Meghan from Montecito last month, launched a vicious attack on King Charles. The New York Magazine offshoot branded our new monarch a, quote, big fussy baby and a jerk to his staff. The article points to 2 so-called tantrums Charles threw involving pens just day after his mother had died. The minor and frankly, I think, relatable incidents, given what he's going through, happened when his pen leaked during a signing ceremony in Northern Ireland. And the other was when he was gesturing to aides to move a pen tray during that accession ceremony in front of the Privy Council. Now, the savage attack in this magazine also repeats the rumour Meghan helped start, accusing Charles of being racist about baby Archie. And it goes on to accuse him of, quote, mundane cruelty towards Princess Diana. So to break down all of the latest melodrama out of Montecito, I'm joined by the renowned royal biographer Tom Bauer, who's of course just written a major new biography of Meghan. So Tom, I want to start with this cut thing. Does Meghan need to think about the company she keeps if the Sussexes are ever going to be bought in from the cold? Because her beloved magazine has just completely slammed her grieving father-in-law, including, by the way, accusing him of being the royal racist.
Well, my feeling is that they don't want to come back in. They want all the perks, the titles and the baubles and the power, but don't want to actually come back to Britain and rule the work. They wanted to just milk the system from Montecito. I thought in the amazing shots during yesterday's procession that Meghan looked pretty much like an intruder. And as an intruder, she's looking for more grist to give to the cut. She's sided with the American media against Britain, the Anglophobes like the New York Times, and also the Cut and other magazines and other so-called professors who really take on Meghan's charge against the royal family and make it even worse. So I think she's pretty unhappy in Britain. She doesn't like it that Kate probably looks infinitely better than she does, and Kate probably snubs her because she's been so rude and cruel and inaccurate. And it's a tough time for them, and not least because Meghan, I thought ridiculously when they left yesterday holding hands. They just are an odd couple by now. Always angry, never content, always complaining. You know, the sooner they go, the better, I think, for Britain.
And then there's this extraordinary report by The Sun's royal editor, Tom, which suggests that even in this period of national mourning, even in this incredibly difficult time for King Charles, they are being relentless is the word, over granting Archie and Lilibet Prince and Princess titles and also HRH status. Now, I don't get this one, Tom, because they seem to hate the institution so much. They seem to hate everything the royal family is about. Why on earth do they want to put their children through having these titles, given they're going to grow up as Americans in California?
Well, simply because that's the only way they can make their money in America, by posing as royals, and they just want them to be princes and princesses. I mean, for Meghan, I think it's more Meghan than Harry. Meghan just sees it as her meal ticket, and she just sees the whole thing in her terms. I thought there was a very funny meme that went round soon after the Queen's death, where Meghan is saying it's just absolutely terrible. No one has asked me over the last 2 days if I'm okay. And I think that's what it's all about. I think that she took some power from this walkabout with Kate and William. She thought that she was back in the frame and that she's got some authority. The truth is that they are a malign couple. Nothing has changed. Harry, unfortunately, I think, is suffering because, after all, he loved his grandmother. Walking behind her coffin yesterday must have reminded him of that fateful walk behind his mother's coffin in 1997. And it's not easy for him. But Meghan is only thinking about herself. And that is the problem. I don't think anything the royal family can do is going to help them. And in the end, Penguin won the battle to delay the book. But whether that book will ever appear and how it'll appear is up in the air still. So they're just an unhappy couple with huge pressures, not least financial. And they're outsiders here at the moment, and the focus isn't on them, and that makes them even more unhappy.
Welcome back to Royal Affiliate, where we bring you the latest news, analysis, and updates on the British royal family. If you enjoy balanced and informative royal coverage, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Now, let's take a closer look at today's story. Royal author Tom Bower recently joined broadcaster Dan Wootton for an in-depth discussion covering Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the continuing public conversation surrounding the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Throughout the interview, Bower shared his perspective on the couple's relationship with the royal family, their public appearances, media projects, and the challenges they have faced since stepping back from official royal duties. He also discussed how he believes public opinion has evolved in recent years and offered his interpretation of the Sussexes' approach to interviews, documentaries, and public messaging. It's important to note that these are Bower's opinions and analysis based on his reporting and experience. They should not be interpreted as confirmed facts about the private thoughts or motivations of Prince Harry or Meghan. During the conversation, Dan Wootton asked Bower about several recent royal developments, encouraging him to explain why he believes the Sussexes continue to attract widespread media attention. The interview also explored the wider impact of ongoing tensions between the Sussexes and other members of the royal family, including how those relationships continue to shape public discussion. Since stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Prince Harry and Meghan have remained among the most talked about members of the royal family.
But Tom, they keep seeming to get their own way. It has been confirmed tonight that Prince Harry will be able to wear his military uniform at this vigil of the Queen's grandchildren, which we think is going to take place around her coffin in Westminster Hall on Saturday. Of course, previously, he had been told that he had to wear his morning suit for all of the formalities across this week. So they keep on giving in to him. King Charles clearly wants his son to feel like he's making a real effort. Do you think that's so that when he goes back to America, Charles hopes, oh my goodness, don't slag me off?
Well, I think that's definitely much Charles's motive, and also he's under such enormous pressure at the moment, not least because of his mother dying, but also being king and all the rest of it. He wants to get rid of the minor problems, and if Harry goes on and on and on, it's so much easier to say, oh God, let the man wear his uniform if it means so much. It's just very, very difficult. There was such a dreadful coincidence that they were in Britain at the time of the funeral, of the Queen's death, and didn't just fly in for the funeral. It's made it all infinitely more complicated. I don't think whether he wears the uniform or not is that important. I think much more important is that Charles and William find a way to neutralize the couple. In the end, I think many people will demand that they are stripped of their titles altogether and have done with it. But we're some way from that still.
Their interviews, documentaries, memoirs, and public appearances have generated significant interest around the world. At the same time, royal commentators have offered a wide range of opinions about the couple's decisions and their evolving relationship with the monarchy. Tom Bower has become one of the best-known voices in that conversation through his books and media appearances, while others have challenged or disagreed with his conclusions. The interview has sparked a variety of reactions. Some viewers agreed with Bower's assessment and praised his analysis of recent royal events. Others argued that his views represent only one perspective and that discussions about the Sussexes often become highly polarized.
Yeah, we're not there yet. It certainly feels, Tom, based on all of the reporting that I've done, I know you've done a lot of it over the past few years too, that William is prepared to take a much harder line than Charles. Charles still hopes that he can charm this couple. I personally think he's wrong. Because, look, he funded them in terms of getting to California, and they still have thrown him under a bus time and again, but he wants to give it a go as king. He thinks that there's a way for him to try and bring them back into the fold. Personally, I think it's naive, but I think it's Charles who has actually been softer on this couple than William.
Well, Charles is the father, and no father wants to lose contact with his son. And William is the aggrieved husband of Kate and feels that his brother has betrayed him and his wife and has behaved despicably, and not least Meghan too. And I'm sure the one thing Meghan is not going to do is apologise. Charles is clearly trying to find a way to diffuse Harry's anger, but I think in the end, Harry is completely governed by Meghan, and Meghan only thinks about Meghan. And therefore, Charles is going to be disappointed. It's a horrible problem to have to face in this week of mourning about the Queen. But that's the whole point about the Sussexes. It is all about them. And they're not really interested in the rest of the world, not least in Britain mourning the passing of the Queen and wondering how the new king will cope. So I think that Charles is right to let Harry wear his uniform. It placates the problem. He hopes that at least Harry will leave with one grievance less and wait and see then what happens. I'm surprised that he in the end gave their children titles Prince and Princess. It can't bode well in the future either. And I'm puzzled why the Sussexes think that their two children should be HRH when they clearly are not going to work. And we've got to remind ourselves that when Archie was born, Meghan made it absolutely clear through a statement that her son Archie was going to have no title at all. Now suddenly they've all got to have their old baubles, everything. You can't please that couple.
As with many stories involving the royal family, opinions remain divided, highlighting just how closely the public continues to follow Prince Harry and Meghan. Whether viewers agree or disagree with Tom Bower's comments, the interview demonstrates that Prince Harry and Meghan remain central figures in conversations about the future of the royal family. As new developments emerge, discussions surrounding the Sussexes are likely to continue attracting worldwide attention. We'll continue following the latest royal stories and bring you balanced updates as they unfold. What did you think of Tom Bower's comments? Do you believe his analysis reflects the current situation, or do you see the story differently? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more British royal family news. Thank you for watching Royal Affiliate, where the crown meets the headlines. We'll see you in the next royal update.